This course is brought to you by AppyPie as part of our Academy series.
Hey there, here are the explanation for the first three questions which are there in the quiz. The first question is, which one is a valid declaration of a boolean? Definitely, a boolean variable can contain either true or false. So definitely the third option is the correct option. And true and false are keyword, so we need not to make use of any single quotes in here. Alright, so this seems to be good enough. Let us check the answer, and good job. Alright, so let's move forward. And the second question is, which is the encoding scheme for characters used in Java? Definitely Unicode. Let us check the answer. Again, a good job. Let's move forward. And size of int data type in Java, definitely 32-bit. Alright, so good job. So these were the first three questions in our quiz 1. Thanks for watching, and meet me in the next video.
Hey there, here is the question which we will discuss in this video, and this is a pretty simple question where we need to determine the output of the code which is in front of us. Now in this small little program we have this class by the name of quiz, and we also have two instance variable by the name of I and j, and inside the main method we are simply calling in the method sub, and inside the sub method we are simply subtracting the instance variable I from j, and the value would be stored inside this variable k, and finally we are printing out k. Now if we check this program, the possible output could be, for example, 1, because we are subtracting 11 from 10, right? Then 0 won't be the output, and there are two more options which are compilation error with an error at line number 5 and compilation fail with an error at line number 8, right? Now let us quickly move to Eclipse and check out this program in real. And here is Eclipse, and I have already created this program for you. Let me execute this, and there would be definitely a error, and the first error is on line number 8. Let me expand this and show you. So the first error is line number 8, and if I highlight that error, then here is the error which is there. Now why there is a error? Now there is a very basic issue with this program. First of all, this method is a static method. Now there is a generic rule. We can only access static elements inside a static method, and in here we are trying to access instance variable. Now how to fix this issue? Pretty simple. We can get rid of this static keyword and then try to, for example, execute this program, and then again there would be a issue at line number 5, because we need to call this sub method by using a object. So let's do that. So I will simply type in new quiz dot sub, and then our program should work. Let me execute this, and here is the output, which is perfect, right? The second workaround is, let me undo the changes. We need to mark these instance variable as a static. Then again this program will work. Here we go. Now why there is a error when we are trying to access the instance variable? The answer is pretty simple. So let's get started and we will redo the same. Alright, so why there is a error when we are trying to access an instance variable inside a static method? Now the reason is pretty simple. Whenever we are creating an instance variable, the instance variable are based on instances, or in other words, the instance variable are based on the object we have created. So the instance variable location are different, and based on how many objects are there, different memory location would be used to store the information, whereas static elements would be stored only once in the memory, and the memory location of static elements would be in a different heap of memory. If there is any confusion in your mind, do research on static memory location and instance variable memory location, and that will give you a better understanding. Now moving forward, let's quickly check the options for these questions, and definitely the answer for this particular question is the fourth option, where the compilation fail with an error at line number 8, because we will encountered with the error in this 8th line. Alright, so this is all about today's lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Alright, so here is the next question, and in this question we have a class by the name of quiz, and inside the main method we have two instance variable. The variables are I, the value is 0, 1, 2. Then we also have a variable j, the value is 0, 6, and then we are simply printing in the value of I and j. Now here are the possible output of the program which is provided to us. First option is 1 to 6. Now this option is not correct because we are making use of println, and definitely the value of I and j would be displayed in separate lines. Then we have 12 and 6. This answer seems to be good enough, but this is wrong. Why? Because whenever we prefix 0 to any int value, that particular int value would be considered as an octal value, and the octal equivalent of 0, 1, 2 is 10. So the octal equivalent of 12 is 10. As a result, the first line, the value of I would be 10, whereas the octal equivalent of 6 is again 6. So in the next line, 6 would be displayed. So the third option is the correct option. Hey there, in this video we will check out this small little program, and we will try to check what would be the output for the program. Alright, so in this program we have a class by the name of quiz. Now in this class, the first statement is declaration of a variable a, and we have assigned the value 1 to this variable. Now friends, note that this a variable is a global variable. Alright, so moving forward, we also have a method by the name of method which receives a int entity, and the name of the variable as a parameter list is again a. So inside this method we will make use of a local variable, so there is a catch in there. And then definitely we have performed some kind of operation on the variable a, and finally we have displayed the value of a, which is good enough. Moving forward, we have the main method, and inside the main method we are simply calling in the method, and we have sent the value as 2 to the variable a, which is inside there in the method. So little tricky to understand, and the options which are given to us as 1, 2, 3 and 4. And first of all, let us understand what would be the correct output. We have passed the value 2 to this method, so the value of this a local variable is 2 initially, and then we have performed the operation. The operation is a plus equals 1. This means that we have added 1 to the current value of a. So the current value of a would be 3, and definitely before printing the value to the console, we have incremented the value of a once again. As a result, the output would be 4. Now there is nothing to do with the global variable in this program. So this is it. And if we quickly try to check what is the actual output by executing the code, even that is with us, let me execute this, and here is the output in front of us. The output is pretty simple, 4. So this is all about today's lecture. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so the next question is, what's the default value of Boolean variable? Definitely the answer is false, which is already highlighted, and let us check the answer. Good job. So this was a quick explanation.
Hey there, so here is the program which we will discuss today, and the question is again based on a program, and we need to determine the output of the program. Now this program is pretty simple, where we have a class, and inside the class we have the main method, and there are a couple of operations, and finally we are displaying the value of the variable I. Now in this program there is a catch, and the catch is on line number 3, where we are dividing 4 divided by 8. Now 4 is an int entity and 8 is an int entity. So whenever there is an operation in between int entities, then the output would be again a int. So whenever we would be like divide 4 divided by 8, the output would be 0.5, but the 0.5 value would be converted into a int entity, and the int value of 0.5 is 0. Now as a result, we would be simply multiplying 0 with 10, and then we would be storing 0 in our variable f. The value inside the variable f would be 0.0 because again 0 would be converted into a float entity. Finally, in the next line number 4, we are simply converting 0.0 to a int entity, and the int equivalent of 0.0 as a 0, as it is no rocket science. And finally, the value 0 would be stored inside this variable I. Alright, so enough of explanation, and by now you can identify the correct option. The correct option is 0, which is the third option. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. Hey there, today we will discuss the following question, and the question is, when automatic type conversion take place in Java? Now this question is pretty important in fact, and if we check the particular options which are provided, then majorly the first part of the options are common. First option is both element have compatible data type and the size of destination is shorter than the source type. Then the second option is both element have compatible data type, and then the rest of the statement. Likewise, in the third option as well, the first phase is common. Both elements has compatible data type. Now what does this mean, compatible data type? Let me show you this article from oracle.com real quick. Now if we check this article talks about the data types in Java, and in total there are 8 primitive data type. Now if we check byte, short, int and long, then these are like compatible data types. For example, the maximum positive value a byte entity can contain is 127, and 127 can be easily stored in a int variable as well. So these are compatible with each other. Likewise, float, double are compatible with each other. Boolean is not compatible with any other data type. Likewise, char is yet another different data type. So the compatibility of data types are important. So the first thing is pretty clear. Then there are a couple of statements in here, and the third statement is the correct option for this question. Let me read the statement for you. Both elements have compatible data type and the size of destination type is larger than source. So this is important that the destination should be larger than the source, then only the automatic type conversion will take place. Alright. Moving forward, we will try to understand what does this mean. Let me open the article once again. Friends, in here, let us take example of byte and short. If we check the range of byte, the maximum positive value a byte can contain is only 127. But the maximum positive value in short variable can be stored, and the maximum value is 32767. Now we can easily store a byte value into a short value because the range is way more larger than byte. But if we, for example, try to store 32767 in a byte variable, then definitely the byte variable doesn't have the size to store such a big number. So here the size matters. Now in order to understand this in a better manner, here is a very sweet and simple example. If we type in byte b equals 127, then we type in short s equals b, then this would be okay with Java, because Java knows that short s can easily contain the maximum value of byte as well, right? But when it comes to short x as 30 and byte y is equals to x, then in here there is an ambiguity. Java has an objection in here because the maximum value of short cannot be contained in a byte entity. So Java will not apply the automatic conversion. Alright. So this was a short example related to automatic type conversion. Definitely the third option is the correct option. I hope I have made myself clear. Hey there. So today we will discuss yet another question, and this is a simple and easy to understand question indeed. So the question is, in Java, byte short int and long types are, and the options are signed, unsigned, both of above, none of above, and the correct answer is signed. Let me show you these example. Whenever we type in, for example, int x equals 5, it means int x equals plus 5. So the plus is the default sign for these variables. May it be int or may it be float, the default sign is plus. Moving forward, we can also specify the default sign explicitly. So it is perfectly alright to type in int z equals plus 2, which is easily acceptable. Moving forward, if we would like to make use of minus sign, even that is possible. We simply need to specify the minus sign explicitly, and we may type in int y equals -9. So this was all about the story of signed variables. I hope you got the point, and I will catch you in the next one.